if we start by great success, I would probably pick the Allflex and investment. So Allflex was the leader in animal identification at the time I invested in the business. So that was back in 13. And it was a very odd business because basically what they were doing were those plastic tags that you put on cows' ears. So just picture huge factories in the middle of Brittany and all over the world producing those millions of plastic tags and putting plastic tags on cows and calves. They were touching 500 million calves at birth per year when we invested in it. So, they had a global market share. They had fantastic margins. The combination of their market share and their scale and industrial presence and sales team presence means that there was no space for any competition. So talking about barriers to entry, moat, whatever, they were up there. The macro trends were every year, 5% of global cattle needed to be identified in addition to, you were starting from, 25 or 30% identification, and you need to grow to 60%. So you had growth for the next 20 or 30 years and what was pushing that? Global trade, farms getting bigger, regulation becoming stranger. So macro trends. So remember my structure, macro trends pushing your way.
Moat.
The business was impossible to take. Super great margins, great culture, founder led and managed to morph into a very decentralized, but very global business. Great management team, very united, very collegial. All the right incentives in place, and a lot of optionality because, yes, you could just take the business like this and pay a very high multiple and do a decent return. Or you could use that platform of, okay, they're touching 500 million calf at birth. What else can I do apart from putting a bit of a plastic chip on their ear? And the vision I had was, instead of putting a plastic tag, we're going to put a chip and we're going to take a clip of DNA, and we're going to start building Google of animals, the data, and we're going to build data so that we can better look after those animals, predict the behavior, have better productivity in farms, be ahead of disease, be able to tell animal health players, your vaccine doesn't work for X, Y, Z reasons. And there was nothing in that field. And that's exactly what we did, which involves a massive shift in culture and organization, because we moved from a very analog to a very digital business. And also we had to change the organization, change the culture, build an R&D department. I won't tell you the long story. But 6 years later, it had become the leader in animal intelligence. And we bought it at 13 times EBITDA at entry, where people felt, and it was a very contested auction, and people felt they're never going to make money at this price. And we sold at 24 times EBITDA to Merck, one of the biggest pharma group in the world. We only had strategic buyers, all of the animal health players, and we made, a capital gain of 1.5 billion. So that was just, you can't dream of a better outcome.